It's on my right leg here, and I'm hooking just my strap, my belt, whatever I have behind my right knee joint. Keep your sits bones heavy and your hip bones evenly weighted as you use your arms. And you don't want to use your shoulders. You want to bend your elbows. This is kind of a bicep curl movement. You're going to bend your elbows and pick up your right foot. The point is of this, that we're not using our hip flexor here, but we're using something else. So the hip flexor and the quad, actually rectus femoris, the deep iliacus doesn't have to do anything right now. We're just going to let that thigh bone drop down into the hip joint. Because a lot of times when people say, ooh, this bunching up here and it's kind of uncomfortable. So what we're just saying, I'm going to drop the thigh bone into the hip joint without muscles that shouldn't be doing this work are popping up. How's that, Elaine? Does that good? Yeah. So we're going to use that strap or use your arms to lift the leg up. Keep your sits bone heavy. Just kind of practicing this, dropping the thigh bone into the hip joint. And then you control it down with your arms. Shoulders sliding down the back, collarbones are wide. You're going to lift the leg up and then keep the leg lifted. And then by holding on to your strap with one arm, right hand, you're going to just make tiny circles here with the control of your arm, right? You're moving your thigh bone, hi Sally, in the hip joint. And I like to think guacamole in the hip. It's a very smooth action. It's tiny, and I'm exploring every little aspect of my hip. It's a very round, it's a beautifully round construction. And let's reverse the circle. Not holding on, just with your arm. You're just going to easy breezy move your leg around. And then lower the leg down. And then just take a moment. You can even straighten your legs for a moment and kind of feel that out. Maybe there's a little difference from side to side. Can we feel that? Is a little difference? Yeah? Okay. So maybe there's a little more length in that right side, although we haven't really even done much. So that's kind of my kind of work. So let's switch legs, left hand or both hands holding onto your strap or just holding onto your thigh bone. And by bending your elbows, you're going to pick that leg up. And the drop again, we want to think my thigh bone is dropping just another 2 inches deeper into the joint. Maybe it's just 2 millimeters, 2 centimeters. It's about that deep, deep, deep connection. The most problem we have is when stuff is hypermobile, when the connection, and I'm reading anatomy books these days every night because I'm teaching a workshop on Saturday and I want to be really sharp on my anatomy. So there's so many ligaments in the body. I mean, it's insane. So keep dropping. You're going to just let it control back. And then you're going to lift it up at the power of your arms. It's super tiny. We'll do 2 more. And we really have to respect our ligaments. And if we just stretch things, we don't know what we're stretching. I wouldn't know. So keeping the leg lifted, hold on with the left hand only, or if you have no strap, you can just do both hands at your thigh bone, and you're going to go and do those tiny circles. And if you know that you have hypermobility in your hip joint, I want you to really think you're moving through clay here. You're moving through honey, you're moving through something super dense and viscous. So your brain is kind of saying, oh, I have to work a little harder muscularly, although there's not a ton of muscular work, but I'm I'm having to hold on to my thigh bone here. And that is a great concept for hypermobility. Let's reverse the circle. Make sure your pelvis is stable, right? The hip should not be rocking side to side as you're moving your thigh bone here. Otherwise, we're not moving in the hip joint, but we're moving in the spine, especially in the lumbar. And that's where movement is the least available for us and where most people move the most. It's very interesting. And then let that leg lower down. Take the strap,